All right, let's talk about electric motorcycles versus gas. So, first off, let's just take them one at a time here. People say, oh, well, it's not good for this and not good for that. They have certainly their different specialties, but when it comes to dirt biking, electric is absolutely where it's at. Why? You don't have to change gears. This bad girl does 0 to 88 in one gear in about 3 seconds. That's right. On the street, of course, you're going to just dig a grave with that rear tire every time you try to do that on dirt, though. So keep that in mind. Like with dirt, I mean, and let's say motocross and mountain riding and single track, right? You're having to really manage your gear shifts a lot and your usage of clutch, and you've got brake, you've got I mean, it's like playing an instrument, and it's a talent. It really is. But really, your focus should be on what's ahead and what's, frankly, 10 feet ahead. Are you going to hit this rock? Are you going to do this jump? What are you going to do to get around this? Or what are you going to do midair? Or what are you going to do when you try to land? And that's more important than what goddamn gear am I in, right? Now, of course, up until now, we've always needed that. I mean, I love my clutch. I love my gears, but not anymore. You know what I love now? I love having my brakes on the handlebar. Yeah. I love having nothing to do with my feet other than hold the fuck on for dear life. That's really enjoyable. All right, so that's number one, but that's an argument for dirt bikes, right? So what about street bikes, you say? Well, street bikes, the fastest street bike in the world since 2012 is the LS218 from Lightning. It's electric, yeah. Now, you've got what? The H2R from Kawasaki, the supercharged. What is that? Probably an inline 4 or something. Haven't looked into it, but I would buy it in a heartbeat if you just handed me some cash. And I'm like, yay, let me go try this thing and try not to die. But yeah, again, you're talking about gears, you're talking about this or that, and you're still going to have a gearbox, and you're still going to shift with anything that's going to do about, over 100. However, that's that beautiful point where I say dirt bikes win as electric, because you're not going to need to go over 100 typically, right? Where I'm trying to go with this girl is to create a hybrid. And so that I can go far, I can stop, I can camp, I can go road, I can go off-road, I can go everywhere I want to go and still charge wherever I am. You go, well, how are you going to do that, bro? Right over here. See this Jenny? Doesn't want Jenny. I've taken it apart. This is waste. Hi. These are going to go into essentially what is panniers or saddlebags, right? And it can charge while riding. It can charge while you're camping overnight, and then you get up and you go the next day, making it possibly unlimited travel. And this one does highway speeds nicely. And I haven't really had any major issues. I mean, you can overheat the motor and stuff, but it'll calm you down, and that's great. So far, this custom Sur-Ron Ultra has been a real champ, and I honestly think that it can be a true enduro bike in a hybrid fashion. But back to street anyway. So street is probably not where things should be with electric right now. I mean, yeah, I don't think electric should necessarily be on the street right now. Should it exist? Should it be? Yeah, but it's almost too easy, and it's really an issue of power to weight ratio to me. So with dirt bikes, that's where our playground is, right? We're having this ability, just like this bike, to reduce our power to weight ratio to the point that someday, in the not so distant future, we're going to have electric mountain bikes, and you can't tell the difference. And they're going to be doing 80 miles an hour and just waving at you on the highway, going, I'm on a mountain bike. Ah. It's coming. And this is really the first generation of that, right? And you see, I've experimented. I've got my street tires, right? That's going on the Ultra at times. Here's a little baby starter, right? These things are just amazing for dirt, amazing for anything that's not, city driving, really. And isn't that what you want to play with anyways? Dirt doesn't hurt as much as cement, let me tell you. And other drivers are really your enemy. I think we all know that. So I try to stay off the street for those reasons, right? I love street driving. I would love to do 230 miles an hour as long as nobody is around to mess me up, right? That's where you die. And so keep that in mind. Now, here's a street bike. Yeah, what is this? It's a Honda Shadow 750. It's not even my bike. This is my girlfriend's bike. And it's sweet because it's very low and it's very nice. But you know what sucks about it? Dual carbs. Yeah, you see that? That's why it's been sitting here for like 3 or 4 years. Dual carbs. It's really, really hard to work on. It's really, really hard to precisely tune it and keep it that way. Now, from the factory, it was great. I mean, it's a factory machine. It's Honda. And Honda kicks ass, right? But once something goes wrong, so maintenance. Maintenance is a huge issue between gas and electric. I don't get my hands dirty. Ignore that. I don't get my hands dirty much anymore because I I only get them dirty on chains, man. That's it. I got no motor. I've got no oil. I've got no stinky gasoline. My God, I had 1 drop of gasoline yesterday in my garage from running another device. That smell was there all day. So there's no smell. You can get on your bike. You can go on a ride. You can come home and your girlfriend's like, where were you? Before she's like, riding your bike, huh? Not attractive, bro. Yeah. So these things keep your smell down, maintenance down, and outside of, let's use this hand, and keep your hands clean. So another huge benefit there, right? It's also growing technology. So another argument for electrics is it's getting better every day. It's getting cheaper. It's getting faster every day. And so that part of it is actually quite fun, right? Because you're like, oh, I bought this. I can upgrade. What do you mean I can upgrade it? Wait. Okay, that's cool. Can I go to a gas bike and can I just upgrade its motor? No. Maybe I could add a turbo or a supercharge, or I can definitely, do my pipes and stuff like that and suspension. Okay. But am I really going to get more power out of it other than a sweet K&N filter or something? No. Whereas this bad girl used to top out at 55 stock. Now she does 95. And nicely. And she's going to become a hybrid, and she's a wonderful street bike, and I'm going to replace the tires with more enduro kind of hybrid tires, right? And I really believe this girl can do anything. Now, of course, this is adventure bikes that are electric don't even exist. So this will probably be the first one, maybe, of an adventure bike. But a buddy of mine does adventure bikes, and that's kind of how I got into some local events, and I always show up in my Varg, and they're like, dude, this guy's fucking crazy. And then I crush them, right? All of them. And I beat them up the hills or whatever it is, but I can go farther, longer, faster, and with less effort. It's not to say I'm awesome. I'm not. I'm dropping my bike too, but I can pick it back up and I can keep going. I can get through the rough areas. And one thing, and maybe I can pull a clip from somewhere, is when you drop a bike, right? When you pick it up and you're exhausted, well, you can walk it out with these things. You've got walk forward and walk backwards on a Varg, and, well, frankly, that Ultra too. I've got reverse, and that's also huge, huge. I could walk it to a safer spot, regain my energy, and start over without trying to rip through baby heads just to get started and fall on my ass again, right? That's really nice. And for example, I add, this is my reverse on my Ultra. Isn't that cool? Yeah, I like that a lot. You don't have that on a dirt bike. No, you're like, I'm going to walk it back. This is fun. Yeah, you ever try to do that with an 800-pound bike that you parked at a slight downward angle in a parking lot? Dude, I had to get help once. Yeah. I'm like, hey, can you help me pull my bike? I know, I'm so strong. Embarrassing. So you won't have to do that. They're getting lighter, faster, stronger every single day. And that is exciting, right? And so every year you're like, oh, they came out with a new model or this or that. Or that. So there's just so much more excitement and fun with electrics right now than gas. Gas has kind of reached its peak. I mean, we went from a single piston to a double piston to a triple inline and a four and a whatever. Now we're up to probably a sweet inline four cycle, 4-cylinder, I'm guessing, right? Like the most efficient engine that produces the most power in the smallest amount of frame. And that's the key. Like, don't talk to BMW about that, but the smallest amount of. So you also have different types of engines, right? And they do different things and they have different purposes. And electric, well, electric's electric, man. You have a massive piece of copper just like running around going, oh, give me electrons, bitches. And just using them from the back, going, spinning as fast as it can and doing so immediately and all the way up to 10 to 12,000 RPM. And that's the only thing limiting your speed, right? You don't need to shift gears to get to 120 miles an hour if you can do 12,000 RPM with the right gear ratio. Doesn't that make me a lot faster, 0 to 100? Yes, it does. Because it takes out the operator error part. I mean, look, with the other cars, whether they're electric or not, you still got your, like, super duper off the line mode. Let me just sit here and I'll show you. It can do 3.5 seconds, 0 to 60. If you just give me a second. I gotta set it up. No thanks. I can do that all day. And I can do that all day, anywhere, at any time. So let's talk about another plus. Learning and progressing, right? On a gas bike, let's say dirt bikes. You might start like I did as a small child. My dad put me on an 80 or a 50 or something like that. And you go, I'm so cool. You're not. And then you move up to a 125 or what, and then you start going up to 250, 350s, maybe into the fours as you get better, right? But each one of those is a new bike and a new experience and a new way to ride. Well, we don't have that with electrics. As a matter of fact, it's all in one bike, right? So with this Varg, well, I don't have the phone on it right now. The phone will give you the ability to change any horsepower you want, any regeneration amount you want. That is the feedback that recharges your battery when you let off the gas, right? And you can switch through that mid-air if you choose. You could land at a higher regen, lower. It's like shifting gears, but it's very quick. And you don't really need to do it at all, frankly, but you can. And that's cool. And so I can get somebody on this bike, and I let people ride the Vargs all the time. Like if you ask, get on, bitch. But I warn them. I said, start in mode 1 and move up until you're uncomfortable, right? And number 2, you're going to want to buy one. If you ride one, you will want to buy one. You will start saving. Like as soon as you get home, you're like, can I sell some gas? Oh, Jesus Christ, I need to get one of those. They're so much fun. It's mind-blowing fun. So you go, oh, man, I'm a gas guy. I can't let my friends see me on that. But if I let all my friends try it, oh, okay. We'll get a high adoption rate. And you really do. These things are just fantastic. So as soon as you get on one, you just like, a gas bike just isn't the same. Because it's always funny when I go out and I go, oh, you want to try it? And this guy's like on something gas. So I'm like, sure, let me try your bike. And I'll get on the gas. I'm like, it's fun. And it sounds cool. And I'm changing gears and I'm ripping. And I'm like, but when I get off, I go, God, it was kind of a lot of work. I had to really focus on a lot of pieces versus focusing on just the fun I'm having the ride. And I know that sounds silly, but it does make a really big difference when you can just go, I've got everything right here and right here to do anything I want. Whoa. And this thing will land off a house. Look at the suspension on this. I could jump this off a 2-story house and it would go, and I'd be like, whoa. And believe me, I have. Not an actual house, but I've gone off some jumps where I landed perfectly flat, or even worse, you land uphill, and it's like jumping off a 3-story house. You go, your face almost hits the phone in the front of it, which should be a pad. That's why motocross does that. And it's like, but if I didn't have this bike, I'd be in a hospital. Man, these things are awesome. But that's any dirt bike, electric or not, right? It's good suspension, period. Now, another thing I'd say is you can play with smaller bikes. So this is another huge benefit to electrics. You see this baby Ron here? This is Saran Light BX. And this baby girl loves to go on trails because she's really quiet, really small. And when you're on it, people are just sort of taken aback. They're like, what? And by the time you leave, they're like, oh, it's just a little electric thing like a scooter, right? Now, if I just comparatively take this on a trail, which I do occasionally, people go, dude, it's got like a big headlight and all this like recognizable motorcycle-like features. You see what I mean? So in these little ones, we can take away a lot of those features, like the front fender. I could honestly remove the light, and that might even help more, right? And just you slim them down to the point that they're almost a dirt bike and a mountain bike, right? And people their perception is okay then. I'm going, well, why did that? It just does. It just does. I get less people telling me to go to hell when I ride the little one anywhere and in the mountains or on tracks or even just on trails and cement than I do anything else. Tells you something. So that's another huge bonus is they're very versatile. You can take electrics really anywhere. Nobody's going to mind. You don't smell. You're not making up noise. My neighbors, for as much as I love them so, it's not one of their complaints. And they have many others. So that's really nice to not be that guy, right? As much as I like cranking some pipes through a tunnel, don't get me wrong. That's what I asked. But I hate having to like keep it really low in the mornings. I'm like going to work at 6 in the morning with a big old V-twin. I'm just like, do, boom, do, boom. And then my neighbor's like, what a dick. God, I'm like, I'm just trying to go to work. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to wake up your dog. So electrics they're not quiet. I mean, when that chain and the wheel it's whee, and when you get that thing up to 10,000 RPM, it's like glass breaking. So they're definitely not quiet. But if you're, let's say, up in the mountains and you're riding with buddies and you're waiting on somebody, you stop your bike, and if you're both on electrics, you don't even hear that other person come behind you until you hear the gravel move. It's interesting. So very, very quiet in that sense, and that's good if you're out riding in the mountains. And I don't know, they say maybe animals like them. I have yet to have like a deer or a bear come up to me while I'm riding an electric motorcycle and be like, "What's going on, bro? You don't happen to have a granola bar, do you?" No, it hasn't happened yet. So they're not quite that quiet yet. But they definitely make a huge difference when you're out there and you're out having fun, right? And it's just, I mean, think if you're a wild animal out there and you're out at Rampart Range in Colorado and you got 5,000 motorcycles out there over 200 acres, like, are you going anywhere near that shit? No. But if we were all electric, however, and this is my theory, I think all the animals would come back. And then you'd be riding electrics, being like, "Oh, look at that, it's a bear!" And then you got to go really fast, but you can because you have all that torque. So sound is another big issue, right? There's also, let's talk about a common element between gas and some electrics: cooling. They all get hot. They all get very, very, very hot, especially the way I ride them. And so a motorcycle is going to have your typical, radiator in the front. You've got an engine, and that liquid is literally running through channels around your cylinders in your motor. I'm sure it's not like this. Some computer figures this out, but you get the point. And that's keeping it constantly cool, along with the forward motion of the bike and the air coming into the radiator. Now, what they did on the Stark Vargs, because they have a liquid-cooled motor in here for very similar reasons, they do have a radiator, but it's under the seat, and it uses a fan to maintain a consistent airflow, which I agree with that from being a PC builder for many years and a liquid-cooled PC designer for that matter. That's necessary. But I really think they should also get that airflow on it from the bike and move it back up to the front because this bike definitely still overheats. But I think it's a design of the motor. And Varg is really cool. They're totally covering the one that just blew up. And I'll probably blow up another one until they figure it out. And they know that. Right? I mean, they designed it for motocross. They didn't think somebody was going to pull 100 plus. I didn't even pull it for a consistent amount of time. It doesn't matter. Point is, we're all learning, right? And the manufacturers are learning. And if they don't cover that and they don't learn and they don't take that data from what you did, then they're dumbasses. You shouldn't buy them anymore. But Varg is not that. They're the shit. So yeah, always buy them. They're worth paying the money because they will take care of you. And they're amazing. They're engineered top notch. You say, "Oh my God, they're so expensive." But they're literally, I mean, these are built to compete, and they're made to compete. This bike in stock form is ready to go on Supercross. Shit you not. So you go, "Wow, why am I paying it?" That's why. That's exactly why. This one, on the other hand, let's talk about cost comparison. Electrics are more expensive. Barry said it. They are. Are they worth it? Yeah. Let me tell you why. There's a lot that goes into maintaining an engine-based bike and something that burns fuel. I mean, you have fuel, fine. We have electrons. We'll call it the same cost, level that out. But then you've got things like maintenance. You've got all this work that you got to do. You got parts that go bad over time, and really ultimately what it comes down to is the time. Because I don't care what you have, whether it's electric or gas, you're going to need to maintain that bike. And unless you're going to take it to your shop once a year or more, right? Good luck, right? And if it's a dirt bike, you need to learn how to do it yourself because you're going to break the thing if you're using it right. Sorry, that's how it works. And so there's a lot of extra costs that you don't realize that go into gas motorcycles. You got to buy gas cans, you got to buy this and that, you got to buy some rags, I mean, it just adds up, and all the tools and the socket sets I no longer fucking need. And all these things, not that I don't have them. I need them for other things, but you get the point. Like over time, like if you didn't have a toolkit and you just bought a motorcycle, you're buying a toolkit too, bro. And you're buying a helmet, you're buying all the gear. That goes between both of them, fine. But there is definitely a significantly higher cost to maintain an engine-based bike, whereas a motor-based bike has very low maintenance. But you might lose a part here and there. But really, you're just changing tires. Most people are just going to change tires. I change tires and wheels and suspension and all that stuff because, well, I'm an eccentric nut. But that's not your usual rider. Usual rider just wants to ride on weekends, right? Not have to worry about it. Wake up, put it in the car, the trailer, whatever, and just go, man. And that brings my last transition. Portability. Now, portability with a street bike really isn't a big deal. I mean, it ports itself. However, there are times when you got to take it to the shop or whatever, and you're going to need a full-size trailer for that. These? No. No. Now, like in, a Lightning street electric, yeah, dude, they're 500 pounds. You're going to need the same thing, and the tire's really fat, and you're going to need, yeah. But when we're talking dirt bikes, on the other hand, whoa. So before electric revolution came around, dirt bikes, you had to have a nice dirt bike trailer. You typically, even if you had one dirt bike, you had to almost like put it on a trailer because there was no trailer hitch attachment that could handle that kind of weight consistently. Well, now there is. So even though, and this could go honestly both ways because these Vargs are 270 pounds, and I put it on these one-up racks, believe it or not. But this is an extreme rack that they just came out with last year or two. So these didn't even exist prior. But what I can do, and have done, you see these 3 bikes here? I've taken all 3 bikes, a total of, probably 400 some pounds. Yeah, don't call me one up. I know, we've talked. You don't like that I'm doing that. But it works. I've taken all 3 of these bikes down to the Great Sand Dunes, which is a good 6 some hours away from here and back. And I mean, to Moab and some other places. And yeah, am I a little worried about that? Yeah, it's like bouncing, and it's like, oh my God, I'm going to lose them at any time. But it doesn't. And you couldn't do that before. I mean, I could certainly get away with one bike now that was gas. But if these were all gas, I don't care if you had a bunch of 125s, that's where they really kind of lose that power to weight ratio. I mean, they're light, but you add them up, and then they're dirty, and then you got to get them on. It's a mess. It's just, I'd rather have a trailer if they're gas because of just all the mess. And you got to take some gas cans. What do you want to do? Put those in your car? Fuck no, right? Get one of those to spill, it'll never get out of your car. So you never have to worry about that again. So there's a lot of cost savings in transportability as well, because this rack cost me less than that trailer, I guarantee you, right? Or any even small motorcycle trailer, although this is, their largest one, but it does carry 3. So comparatively, yeah, saved a lot. Plus, I don't have to have a huge trailer. I can throw that on a lot of times. I mean, I do take my big trailer occasionally, but I take that way more often. The one-up is the way to go. I can throw it on the back. I can quickly have a couple bikes on there, go out to the motocross track or wherever I want to go, or head up to the mountains in about 10 minutes. And as long as I double check that my tires have air and shit, let's go. That's huge. So time is money. They save you a lot of time and thus save you a lot of money. So there's a lot of money savings, even though electrics are more expensive. They are the perfect vehicle for dirt riding, and they will cost you probably about as much, all factors considered, as gas in the long run, because they really win in the long run here, even though you're paying more right off the bat. So there's a lot of advantages to these. And there's another thing, last thing, software. Now, software on the Varg, I can't really change much. I bitched about that for a little while, and hopefully they'll help me out one of these days. Help us all out. There's no software in this. Yes, there is. Haha, fooled you. Well, there's a shitload of software with engines. They actually need a lot of controllers, a lot of computer chips to determine. They're doing constant monitoring of themselves, making adjustments to everything, looking at the heat, all of that. You have no idea what's really going on unless it triggers an engine light, right? And you go, oh, well, now I got to take it on a damn shop. But on electric, you can have full control, such as this torque controller. So let me show you. I'll just start this grill up. Remind me not to hit the gas and Pastrana this thing right out my front garage. But it's got a lot of lovely stats. And I've integrated technology with electric, right? It just comes default. Meaning, things like on the Varg, for example, I've got maps. It'll track my airtime, my G-forces, lateral and horizontal. I mean, all this stuff. I look back, I go on the motocross track. I'm like, oh my God, I got like 3 seconds of airtime. Or 3 minutes. Sorry, I actually did. And I was really proud of myself because you go, oh, think about that. All those milliseconds or 2 seconds you're in air. It's a lot of them. So you're like, whoa, that's cool. I feel so cool. You're not. But it tracks it. And that's really fun to look at. So you don't typically get that on a dirt bike of any other kind. Matter of fact, I don't think you do on any actual engine-based dirt bike at all. So huge advantage there. So with electrics, regardless of whether it's dirt or street, you have advanced electronics, you have software interfaces to work with that you typically don't with engines. So that is another huge benefit to electric. Now, where does gas really, still shine? I guess would be kind of the last question. I'd say definitely with range, no question about it. With street, with ability. I mean, even if I had an LS218, I mean, what am I going to do? Pull over in America and get a 120 volt charge and wait there for 2 fucking days? It's a huge battery. So you're going to need charging stations, et cetera. You're going to need it maybe Tesla capable, right? Whatever. But that doesn't exist yet. I mean, the Lightning, there's a couple of competitors out there to it, but it's that, and that's why it doesn't exist. They built it just to say they could, but you got to get home. So you go out. So just like these, you go, I'm at 50%. I might want to think about going home or wherever I started. And that sucks. It does. And that's why I think, maybe there's a hybrid arrangement I can work out with this bike, of course. That's what I'm working on with my latest project is a hybrid adventure bike. But gas always wins on range and anxiety. I mean, there's gas stations everywhere, right? Is that really because, engines are... No, it's because they were first. Otherwise, there'd be charging stations everywhere and a universal standard in which to get 240 plus and mega amps, so you can just rip these things, right? We didn't start there, so we don't have it yet. But we're growing that kind of network very quickly. So eventually, electric motorcycles will have their day on the street. For right now, their day is in the dirt.